Tickets for the in-person Sin Week events are available through the end of January. Don't miss out on your chance to join the Sin Crew and the Sin Club for delicious food, sinful movie watching, and more. The live event is in Nashville this March. Check the link in the video description for all the details.
Welcome to Sin Week! Woo!
An incredible 1 minute and 5 seconds for 3 logos. I see the fine folks at Point Grey aren't shy about being assholes, but just because you admit it doesn't make it right. Also, at what point would a child's desk be subjected to a shopping cart full of groceries falling on top of it? I wouldn't put it past this movie to f*** up an apostrophe, but on the off chance it's deliberate, I have a question. Did the Shopwells feel obligated to start a supermarket business because of their name? Or is this some marketing bullshit that someone came up with because turning Shopwell into a name would inspire more trust and loyalty from the community? I really don't care which, I feel like either deserves a sin. There's no way this is enough carts for a store this size. Yes, there could be more inside, but we get a pretty good look at the entrance to this store, and there's no sign of additional carts. 11 stars? Is this some sort of new Confederate flag or something? And is there a reason why the stripes get progressively bigger as it goes down? I can already see that much of this movie's humor is going to come from animated grocery items swearing, which, admittedly, I will find amusing for the first few seconds of this movie. The corn starts singing, and I don't think there was a good enough warning to tell me how many drugs to take before watching this. Granted, this is a raunchy animated movie about grocery store items featuring Seth Rogen, but you know what? That's plenty enough warning for how many drugs I was supposed to take. The lyric goes, "We're super sure there's nothing shitty waiting for us in the great beyond," and I appreciate that as a joke because of the irony, but wouldn't you ask yourself why the song doesn't focus on the positive? Like, would a doctor advertise, "Nothing shitty will happen to you when you visit Dr. Hackblood"? Because something that just barely qualifies as a song is playing here, we can't share the accents on the show, so you'll just have to trust me when I say that they are 1,000% more offensive than you'd expect, while also being in the bottom 1% of things most likely to offend you in this movie. There's way too much to unpack about this racist bottle of sauerkraut that says it wants to exterminate the juice, but I'm going to unpack it anyway, just for you. First off, the wordplay is the "if you seek Amy" of racist grocery anthems. Second, some marketing genius apparently signed off on the Nazi color scheme, having Fuhrer in the brand name and 2 F's on the bottle stylized to look like a goddamn SS badge. This product would be unmarketable in almost every state in America. Also, from what we see in this movie, most of the items do not move independently around the store like the toys in Toy Story, unless it's for the purpose of a musical number. So it's difficult, for instance, to believe sauerkraut would have animosity towards apple juice because those things aren't anywhere near each other. All the hot dogs are men and horny bastards, and all the buns are women and only care about intimacy. No shop, no matter how badly run, would go to the effort of stacking excess stock this f***ing high or this f***ing precariously. This is one wayward cart away from literally killing a person, and that is a lot of paperwork, believe me. By the way, why are the hot dogs not in the refrigerated section? Do you want listeria? Because this is how you get listeria.
By this time tomorrow, we're all gonna be 5 inches deep in some buns, son.
Hey, my dudes, we're all super baked, but did you ever notice hot dogs are like totally shaped and shit? And we like shove them into buns, which are like totally vagina shaped? Dudes, there's like a movie in there. And have you noticed how dumb religion is?
I'm sure there's some kind of smushed bun out there waiting for me.
This movie's version of foreshadowing a happy ending for Barry here is that, as a being who doesn't fit into the cultural norm of attractive, he will only find love with another being who also doesn't fit into that norm. And I honestly don't think the movie realizes how patronizing or offensive that is.
F*** you, weenies.
The malice behind this "f*** you" feels several notches of passion higher than anyone who hates their job as much as Darren here would bring to any one task.
Lined up, waiting to get filled with my meat.
As beautiful as this tale of love is, here's where the dream somewhat falls apart. Frank said that they'll all be paired up with buns in the great beyond. The only problem is that this is a pack of 8 buns being paired up with a pack of 10 sausages. Either 2 of those buns are getting some serious DP, or the 8 wieners who figure this out first are going to murder the 2 that didn't.
And the answer is, as soon as we get to the great beyond, and as deep as you'll let me.
Look, if you're a hot dog hoping to get inside a bun, I'm not going to break down the psychology of that. You love who you love. But how do these hot dogs have any hope of scoring with any specific bun in these packs when any random set of buns and any random set of hot dogs could be picked by the gods? And what if you're in the movie UHF? You'll end up in a goddamn Twinkie.
I'm pretty nervous about this. I don't know how well I'm gonna perform once it happens.
What exactly is their definition of performing? I mean, cool, they want to and stuff, but do they know what that actually means or entails? For example, how do they know it'll feel any better than the sensation of the other wieners that are currently pressed up against them?
I realized I bought honey mustard. Is it cool if I just go swap it?
I don't give a flying
homeboy.
It's not just the cussing groceries, it's also the cussing humans that this movie constantly goes to for laughs. Sure, the humor here is that a cashier would be this blasé about her job, but when you see scenes like this, you realize you're watching a raunchy SNL skit that's been inflated to 90 minutes. So wait, you're saying that the guy who bought honey mustard instead of regular mustard went past all the regular mustard to pick up this jar of honey mustard on the bottom shelf? Get the f*** out of here with that shit.
You have learned the terrible truth. Now give it to yourself, or I will slit your throat while you sleep. Did you guys just hear that?
None of these guys heard that.
I was starting to worry the guys didn't want douches no more.
Even when you were the last one on the shelf? I was happy to put this off until now, but we need to address how the food is moving in this universe and why the humans aren't questioning it. I was happy to accept that the mustard walking down these items might be perceived as falling, but how the f does it roll up the rest of the shopping? Or is this lady not questioning why the mustard she just put in her cart is defying gravity?
I mean, what is he? Honey? Is he mustard? It's like, make up your mind or just kill yourself.
Jesus Christ.
You been to the great beyond? Great my asshole!
Does he have an asshole, though? I'm seeing eyes and some oddly disembodied eyebrows, but when he was returned to the shelf, we got a pretty good look at his undercarriage, and there was not a sphincter to be seen. Show me the mustard sphincter, you cowards! Is this seriously happening out in the open right now? I may have to forgive Toy Story all of its sins. At least the inanimate objects in those worlds tried to keep a secret. What kind of collision is going to cause all these items to fall out of it like this? Was the guy pushing his cart 60 miles an hour? I liked the Saving Private Ryan parody and all, but seriously, how f***ing oblivious are these shoppers to steer a cart through a bunch of flour and wasted grocery stock? If they have the intelligence to communicate with each other and comprehend a system of beliefs, they're smart enough to have not attended the Prometheus school of running away from things.
I accidentally dropped a few things back there.
And for some reason didn't bother to replace any of the things I lost. Once it's on the floor, I don't go back for more, like my grandpa used to say.
Clean up an aisle, too.
He didn't tell you which aisle it was, dude.
This MILF dropped a douche.
Oh, MILF. Thank you so much.
Jesus, does Fox News run this grocery store? Is its main clientele its viewers?
You think I give a f about PB or J?
Man, this douche sure does have a big mouth. It reminds me a lot of a character named Lola on a Netflix series that I've watched 6 seasons of. Can't remember the name of it, but this is definitely Nick Kroll, who turned in hilarious performances in The League, Kroll Show, and Loving.
How you like them apples?
Who, us?
No, not you.
I'd love to say something about the abundance of apples correlating to assholery here, but this douche says a food-based exclamation that ends up being taken literally recurring joke is so f***ing dumb that it's making me feel self-conscious about our recurring jokes. Thanks, asshole.
Who, us?
No, not you. This is not a question I ever imagined I'd have cause to ask, but why doesn't the douche have legs? I can't think of a single reason why the sausages and buns would have a full set of appendages, but the douche is forced to walk around on its hands. So, why did this dude ask for a cleanup on aisle 2 if he's the one who eventually cleaned it up?
Hey, who you calling useless, you flappy f***?
Seriously, I could make a whole bonus round out of the number of times the movie just has something cussed to be funny, but it would be A, subjective, and B, the entire movie.
I'm Sammy Bagel Jr.
Jesus Christ.
I am Karim Abdul Lavash!
Jesus Christ!
I am to have 77 bottles of extra virgin olive oil.
These caricatures are depicting exactly what you think they're depicting, and somehow everyone involved still has a career as of this recording.
You got nothing to squirt!
I am not pretending to be an expert on feminine hygiene products, but I feel like we may be over-engineering douches if they're capable of denting hubcaps.
If you f***ing tell anyone about this, you're gonna deny it, bro.
The douche wants to sexually assault a juice box, and I guess I'm supposed to die of hilarity. What a great time at the movies this is.
I'm juicing up.
So the fabric of reality in this living food dimension is exclusively pun-based. The douche getting literally juiced means that it gets a ton of muscles, and that's supposed to make sense? Be funny? I feel like this movie got so excited by the R rating that it forgot to bring anything more than knock-knock joke levels of effort to the comedy.
First, you come into our aisle and occupy more and more shelf space. You even have settlements now on the west shelf that you claim as your own.
I get that the movie wants to imitate geopolitical realities in the world using grocery store items, but this shit just doesn't make sense, and it's pretty f***ing gross to drag the Israel-Palestine conflict into this movie. All the items in the grocery store know that they have no choice where they go on the shelves, and the gods are responsible for where they get placed.
The sauerkraut kicked us out of every decent aisle.
Oh, they did not. There's no way the bagels have been anywhere except where bread is sold. Even if they were kicked out by the sauerkraut, the movie hasn't done any legwork to show us any of the political strife because it's been so focused on the sexual tension between hot dogs and buns this whole time. Also, the sauerkraut was focused on juice the last time we saw them, because that's such a hilarious pun. But if they're going after literal Jewish inventions, how does literal juice factor into their racism?
We were displaced.
Don't you talk to me about displacement!
Unfortunately, this metaphor wasn't just a one-off joke. The movie will continue to beat off to this conceit with no sign of a satisfying climax in sight.
I don't know, isn't there room for both of you in your aisle? It seems like a pretty big aisle.
It takes a special kind of hubris to portray the American sausage as the one with the simple answer to peace, unless peace is a metaphor for oil in this movie.
Are you seeing this? They're all out of their packages.
Hate to constantly bring up Toy Story, but at least that movie had rules. Are you telling me this kind of stuff happens all the time, out in the open, and somehow the humans are unaware of it? And it's not like the grocery items can just fall limp when the humans arrive. They have to get back into packaging and back on the shelves to appear like nothing happened. Plus, in this environment, there would be cameras. Unless this is all happening in my head right now, I'm calling bull on the liquored up grocery party.
This is a place of unparalleled sin.
Let's see, I've personally written over 50 sins in the first 20 minutes alone, so yeah, this checks out.
Wanna dance?
No, thank you, man. I'm quite irate.
Kristen Wiig has been nominated for an Oscar. I mean, not for this, obviously. I'm just saying that seeing her in this movie makes me sad.
I'll just be out here dry humping this 40-ouncer. Not. Yeah, I said not.
Doing not jokes in 2016, or really anywhere past 1992. Truly incredible this movie came out in 2016 and not like 1982 or something. The well-worn stereotypes of the past are alive and well in this movie. I don't think it's woke to point out. They're just tired comedic tropes that don't work anymore, even in 2016.
My kind once had a pristine isle, majestic and untouched. Then we were driven out of it by a bunch of goddamn f***ing crackers.
Movie continues to have all the subtlety and nuance of an unannounced shaped enema dispenser. Also in grocery store world, there's never been a time where the store sold just liquor and then pushed all that off the shelf to make room for crackers. I get the joke, but there has to be an element of truth in the world you create for this to be funny.
Who are you?
We never expire.
We are immortal.
Okay, that explains why you haven't been thrown away by the staff, but it doesn't explain how you haven't been purchased yet.
They call me Mr. Grits.
This in the heat of the night reference is so shoehorned in, I thought I was about to go to a wedding, and I hate weddings.
I can take you to him, chica. I take you to him real good.
Early in the movie, Brenda could tell Frank was bullshitting her because of the tone of his voice, but somehow she doesn't pick up on the sketchy way this guy is talking. Either some company went to the effort of creating a f***ing themed bar to store their excess stock, or at some point, the food people hollowed out this display and created a bar themselves based on knowledge they shouldn't have. I understand neither option, and I dislike both equally.
And bless me, Santa Chimichanga, and protect me from the Dark Lord.
Salma Hayek plays a sexy Mexican taco, and I dare you to go out in public and say that.
Get your nose out of my crotch!
There's no reason for anyone's nose to be in anyone's crotch, because there is so much f***ing room back here. I swear, sometimes it feels like this movie was animated entirely independent of the script.
What gives, bro? You told me you had them.
The real question is, why didn't Tequila just bring everybody straight to douche instead of just dropping them off at a bar?
So you dragged me over to this f***ing aisle with all these illegal products.
Wait a minute. Why are they illegal? Yes, I understand the stereotype that's being masterfully painted here, but it isn't illegal to sell Mexican food. Yet. So what exactly is the joke here, apart from the obviously offensive one?
The coyotes used this tunnel to smuggle some of us out of the aisle in hope of a better life.
Haha, it's like the US-Mexico border. We get it. But if this was supposed to be some sort of escape route, why does it just end up in another part of the store? Also, isn't the goal here to be purchased? Isn't the great beyond the better life that everyone is searching for? I know some of the greatest ideas can be conceived under the influence, but there's no harm in fleshing them out once you're sober.
So we, the non-perishables, created a story. The story of the great beyond.
So the non-perishables invented the great beyond to allow everyone to lead a happy life before their inevitably painful death. Cool. I can see the logic in that. But hundreds of items, just like honey mustard, are returned every day. How are the three of them getting to every single returned item and keeping them quiet while also maintaining their very packed schedule of weed smoking?
Wasn't there a part today about exterminating juice? I didn't write that shit. I love juice.
There you go with the juice puns again. But I wonder why the racist sauerkraut didn't include bagels into the rewritten lyrics, since they apparently hate those as well.
Wait, do you guys have any proof of this?
But what exactly is this proof going to do? In the long term, there's nothing they could do to prevent being eaten. The whole point of the lie was so they could at least live in peace until they were masticated to death.
Oh, I really needed that douche.
I wonder which of the movie's 5 writers came up with this one. The movie goes to the effort of showing that the carrots escaping look to the human like they're just rolling off the counter. But how the f*** does she rationalize the 2 hot dogs that have traversed the sink and are balancing upright on the f***ing window ledge? Also, what the f*** was she trying to do here? Was she deliberately acting like a f***ing serial killer here instead of a regular-ass human? This sticker was on the grape juice box and was used as a bandage for God knows how long, then pulled off again. There's no way there's any stickiness left.
Get the butter!
We all know butter wouldn't have worked here, but no one ever gets any butter, and Brenda is pulled through the gap without a problem after this. Somehow, these salt and vinegar chips are $9.99, while the rest of the similar stuff in the aisle is priced at $3.99.
I'm gonna get you, my pretty! I'm gonna get you and your little sausage too!
Okay, look, that one didn't even have any clever wordplay. You're just ripping off dialogue from better movies.
I begged them to stop, but they just wouldn't.
If hot dogs want to be inside buns for sexual gratification, why don't condoms want hot dogs inside them? So we know it's not just the food that's alive in this universe, thanks to this animated condom. So why doesn't this shoe have arms and legs? Why aren't the cars alive? Nice A113 reference and dragging Pixar into this, but wouldn't Dixar have a different Easter egg? Why not A69?
There is a great beyond without you, and I'm gonna go there and fill myself with something else.
Because it's obviously impossible for two people to have different belief systems and still have a healthy relationship. The only option here is to part ways, clearly. And no, I don't think the movie is trying to make a point about relationships here as much as it's just trying to get these two in a fight so their reunion feels earned, which it won't.
You couldn't fit an eggplant in there. It's too big. It'll tear you in half.
Oh, you'd be amazed what I could fit in here.
What the is going on with these two?
Once again, movie makes a pointless cutaway to a character saying a line with in it, because the movie can't survive on innuendo alone. This movie is like the Logan show your scene drawn out into an hour and a half. The movie now wastes time setting up Meatloaf singing on "Do anything for love, but I won't do that," and you'd swear the whole movie was made just so they could do this one expensive joke.
Bath salts, here I come.
Providing the internet with actual instructions on how to inject yourself with bath salts in a world where people willingly ingest Tide Pods. Also, does this fucking reprobate really strike you as the kind of person that would print shit out? He'd be viewing this on his phone at best, but more likely from a beer-stained napkin. Also, why did this guy tell the drug forum that he got a baggie of bath salts when he clearly just bought it a few minutes ago and would not have had time to post this question, get an answer, and print it out in that amount of time? Like, I get it. He could totally say he got them before getting them so he could get an answer, but why didn't he just ask, how do you do bath salts? The movie now plays Little Green Bag, the song you know from the beginning of Reservoir Dogs, for this drug montage, but it looks more like the drug scene from Pulp Fiction, which used the Centurion's Bullwinkle Part 2 as the song. This is reminiscent of when Mike Damone tells Mark Ratner to play side 1 of Led Zeppelin 4 during his date with Jennifer Jason Leigh in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and in the next scene, Mark's playing Cashmere from Physical Graffiti, and you're like, you done f***ed up, Mark Ratner! The kind of physical things that hot dogs can do with their secret arms and legs make me think this movie isn't entirely on the level about real hot dog anatomy.
Bath salts must be kicking in.
You don't have to be this guy to enjoy this movie.
Whoa, the bath salts are showing me the real world. It's fucking lifted the veil of non-reality.
So the movie is saying that certain drugs will allow humans to see the world of talking food, etc. Fine, whatever. It's your universe, and you can make up whatever shit you want to explain it. But if these two realities actually coexist, and the sentient food isn't just an entirely separate conceit of the movie, you have so much more explaining to do. It suggests that there's some force in the universe that's translating all the actions of the sentient food dimension into what is perceived by humans in the real world. Jesus, there's a God in this universe. They must be really fucking bored, because that is a lot of unnecessary maintenance.
Look at me! I ain't got no legs, you
Why does an individual slice of pizza have its own arms and legs? And isn't it made from things that would have been sentient before it was pizza?
What did he do to you?
You don't want to fucking know.
Yeah, but as a sentient roll of toilet paper, is the horror from tearing off the sheets, or is it from the wiping? Are the individual sheets sentient, or just the roll? The dead toilet paper roll next to the toilet suggests that it's the roll, not the sheets. But you're talking like someone who knows what it's like to be used as a wipe, and I'm calling human shit on that.
You know hummus?
Know him? I'm gonna go so far as to say I consider hummus one of my dearest friends.
And yet, he's never told you about lavage? Of course, my main complaint with this nonsense is that somehow individual bagels know an individual named hummus when there are likely many hummuses out there. And you'd think the dynamics of grocery store life would prevent you from getting attached to just one hummus.
I was scraped off and discarded, and eventually found myself stuck to a shoe that dropped me here.
Okay, so you're a genius and you've been in this druggie's house the whole time and you couldn't save the others who were here? Then why are you here? There's absolutely no reason you or any of these other assholes should be waiting around to die if you've got a genius piece of gum that can help you out of this situation.
If the human operates his automotive, the journey should take 9.8 minutes.
Great, that last part was all you had to say, really.
This weenie would be amazing at sinning movies with the other weenies on our team. These knives would not be outside of normal packaging because this is a tremendous safety hazard for all humans and children alike. Go f*** yourself with this horror show of open cutlery, you dicks. I'm really struggling to get past this, so please bear with me here. If a human stumbled upon this scene, would they see a hot dog flailing against this book and just blame it on the f***ing wind? How do humans explain away this shit? Perhaps this is bold of me, but I'm going to assume that the real-world cookbook doesn't have food illustrations complete with arms and legs and faces with terrified expressions on their finished meals. So how exactly is Frank seeing this shit? Why would illustrations created by humans have a secondary fourth dimension aspect to them that can only be seen by creatures they don't know exist? And if these are photographs, we're totally burying the lead on the camera tech that can capture details only visible in certain dimensions. Also, I understand for story purposes you'd show people eating this food and the absolute horror story it tells, but do cookbooks usually show people stuffing their faces like this? Wouldn't you just see the picture of the food?
They need to know how wrong they all are before it's too late!
Why? What the good is it going to do? Where's the nihilist representation in this story? Just when I was beginning to enjoy this movie, I can't finish that sentence.
Friends!
Have you ever been in a supermarket or even a department store that has screens set up like this that the cashiers can broadcast through? Why the would you ever need this? And even if there was a good reason, that would be so quickly abused by the first understandably disgruntled employee that they would be abandoned shortly after the first broadcasted genitalia.
Ramen! Country Club lemonade! Lend me your ears of corn.
The fact that the corn is rolling his eyes at this reference suggests an actual awareness of its origin. And I just don't know where the these creatures are getting their hands on Shakespeare in a world where a cookbook is a forbidden tome.
I can't run! I'll melt!
Okay, well, hi!
Is the ice cream right next to the computer where Frank is? Because there's no way he heard that. And even if he does, there's no way he hears all the groceries' objections to his plans.
You want to believe that? Or this?
You can't tell me that these food items don't have pictures of people eating the food on the box somewhere, especially the cereal. The movie just reuses the same animation from the beginning of the movie for this key turning sequence. How do I know? The fucking wristwatch says July 2nd both times. I simply don't believe there's someone at 7 a.m. buying hot dog buns and taking them from the bottom rack, and it just happens to be the pack Brenda is in, especially after it seemed like nothing from the display got picked up until the end of the business day yesterday. I'm not sure I brought it up yet, but it's weird that some of the sentient food in the store can take the form of a box, and some of the sentient food takes the form of the food itself. Why does this box of cookie squares have life? Why is this dickhead always running around with his trash cart at the opening instead of doing all this before opening? Does anyone ever come into the store before it opens to do jobs like this?
Doesn't mean it's too late to redeem yourself. Take it from me.
Sure, Barry is just hanging out in the exact vent that Frank just happens to find himself sobbing under. Why the not? What?
And then they figured out how to drive my car, snuck into an AC vent.
They did what? Okay, maybe the chewing gum managed to figure out how to use that map to get to the supermarket, but how the did they all manage to drive a fucking car or even know what one was? Also, how did their tiny bodies manage to drag this head through the AC vents? And why? Okay, I get that you want to bring proof that the god is dead, but did you need the whole fucking head to do that? You couldn't have just brought one of his giant eyes or, I don't know, anything other than a giant fucking head? Also, for the final time, I hope, what would have happened if a human saw this? How would they have been able to rationalize a severed head being dragged along by a sausage, a collection of snacks, and some gum in a motorized chair?
Let's move, boys!
Where did this baggie of bath salts come from? Stoner dude ripped the top clean off this one, and we only see him acquire the one bag from the dealer, meaning there's a whole section of this film on the editing floor where all the snacks scored some more bath salts from the dealer, or just killed him for them. Especially weird considering this store probably has bath salts in stock. Holy shit! Why aren't the bath salts sentient? Putting one goddamn jar on the counter belt as you begin to check out. You have two hands, people. Put more than one jar on the conveyor belt today and make the person behind you believe they'll be checking out before tomorrow.
The bath salts are primed.
Make it rain.
Somehow, the tiny toothpicks managed to get through clothing and deliver a minute amount of the liquid bath salts that is still able to break reality for everyone, despite having no guarantee that they'd hit an artery. I hate the sentences this movie has made me say. Also, since when are these assholes good at archery all of a sudden? Not to say I know what kind of archery skills they had before this moment, but I think we can all agree they were non-existent, and they're using toothpicks. How the did this woman get all of this into that one bag?
There is no way this is gonna work.
This works. Okay, last time, I promise. How is Frank having an effect on objects in the real world? Or are we saying that in the real world, this door is unlocked and it's only locked in the fourth dimension? Does that mean it's only locked for the woman because she can now perceive the fourth dimension? How is the bun that only has hands in this dimension pulling the human's hair? This woman squeezes Frank to the point that he's visibly getting injured by it, but somehow he doesn't turn into mush. I honestly have no clue whose first instinct would be to eat the possessed food. How are there already gumballs in these slots? Do these machines come with free sample gum for any asshole customer to take?
This is gonna hurt so fucking much.
So what's this asshole's version of the great beyond? He clearly knows that his destiny is to be opened up and have his contents used, so what the fuck is he fighting for? As the food apocalypse continues, I have to wonder what happens when all the humans stop being high. The sentient foodiverse is on a separate plane of reality. Do all the sober people see this fighting as some lunatics rolling around in inanimate food? Would they have to keep everyone on a bath salt high in order for this revolution to work? Not sure that matters at this point, and I'm kind of hoping that Frank never left that campfire with firewater, and this is all some insane weed-induced trip.
Not exactly what I was looking for, but it, you know.
The question is, why does the douche think he can use this guy's body like a puppet to get revenge? He could have easily found Frank earlier, especially after he got on the camera system a minute ago and told everyone his whereabouts.
Matter cannot be created or destroyed human.
Sure, why not?
Now!
Oh, bullshit. Did Barry have anything like enough time to organize these assholes into creating a series of bumpers that would propel poor Darren? Yes, poor Darren, because he didn't do anything wrong here other than understandably hate working in retail. Propel poor Darren to his death. Using these propane tanks was purely opportunistic, and there's no way he could have built this and set this up. You. Barry even had time to pack fireworks into that thing? You.
Ew.
It's tough competition, but this might be the single most offensive gag of the movie, largely because it has no bearing on the plot and seems to just be there to have a stab at outdated period stereotypes.
So what do we do now?
Whatever we want. What, do you want?
Thus begins the most famous scene in this movie, and even though it's just animated food, we probably can't show any of it. The orgy scene. I'm so glad I didn't watch this movie in 40X.
Hey, fellas, you think what I'm thinking?
So all the non-perishables decide they're going to get it on, but they already knew there was no great beyond, so why didn't they have sex already if they really wanted to?
Yeah, cracker!
I can't show you what happens to the crackers, but I can't believe the movie is still blaming them for actions that the people who run the grocery store made.
I love you, Brett.
Skip!
The world is a fucking illusion, bro. Our lives are being manipulated for the entertainment of monsters.
I'll admit, we all have the capacity to be monsters. It's the being entertained part I'm taking issue with. When does that start?
You, Frank, were the plaything of a demented, schlubby Jewish actor named Seth Rogen.
I don't think this movie has the balls to show us who played this Native American called Firewater, or the same guy who played the Mexican tequila bottle.
We're gonna go to this other dimension and cut the strings once and for all.
Yeah, but if you realize you're being puppeteered by these actors, why are you able to think for yourself in this moment to make this plan? Apparently, it took 5 talented people to come up with that Great Beyond song. And since I can't easily confirm which one of them wrote the Exterminate the Juice line, I'm just going to award a sin for each of them. Yep, I stuck around through the credits because I'm that kind of hero/masochist. You'll be glad to hear I managed to catch one last joke that was apparently worth bending the fabric of this world's credulity. Poor Darren has received an Employee of the Month certificate for not stealing much. There, the final unfunny nail in this orgy of effluence.
You and me, finally gonna be official.
Just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
I've never opened up. I mean, look how tight I am.
If it's skinny, you should try feeding it carbs. Come at you? What does that mean?
Don't mess with the bull, young man. You'll get the horns.
I'm excited and I feel relaxed and I'm ready to party with the best of them.
I love you. It's like, why don't we say that every day? Why can't we say it more often?
I just love you. I just want to go to the rooftops and scream, I love my best friend Evan.
The whole book's gender biased. A woman's responsible for original sin. A woman cuts Samson's quaff of power. A woman asks for the head of John the Baptist.
Get the butter!
F you, hormones. You are a crazy bitch. Hormones. Go f your fucking bong.
This is like the apex of the vortex of joint engineering. It's rumored that M.M. O'Shaughnessy designed the first one, the guy who designed the Golden Gate Bridge. Of course. My second favorite civil engineer.
You intolerant piece of shit!
Your booze mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer.
You don't need to understand. You just need to relax and open wide.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
But you were amazing.
Give me 2 popsicle sticks of rubber band. I'll find a way to f*** it.